The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb. I saw it, and I guess I have a responsibility to give my thoughts on it. I criticized the trailer, so I have to man up and go the rest of the way. This is the first time, I think, ever I've really considered seeing a movie, much less a comic book movie, which I usually love, as a chore. I didn't really want to see this movie. I had a lot of hurt feelings left over from the abandonment of the Sam Raimi franchise, and I had to work hard to set that aside like I should. Um, back in the day, when I was younger, like Spider-Man movie, holy gee whiz. But I guess that was part of what made the Sam Raimi films so special. They were something that fans and connoisseurs of comic art had been looking forward to for years and years, decades, almost centuries. And so that did somewhat deflate, I think, the impact of this film. It's no longer the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man on the big screen. It's just a Spider-Man movie. But I have to be fair. Whatever my feelings are regarding the original trilogy and this reboot, it's not its fault. It deserves to be judged on its own merits, and I tried to do that. I really did. That said, I have to say I am still partial to Sam Raimi's films. Don't hit. What can I say? I don't think that this is a bad movie. I'll make that very clear. It's not as bad as I was afraid it would be. It's okay. It's good. It's above competent. It's exciting. It's not the equal, I think, of the first two Spider-Man films. It has its pros and cons. Some things it does better. Some things it does not as good. I'm not inclined to say worse because, again, this isn't a bad film. It's a solid motion picture, all things considered. It's not bad. And really, that's what it boils down to. It's not momentous like the Sam Raimi films were. It no longer has this sense of grandeur. It just feels kind of stripped down, which I guess is sort of the point. They wanted to get Spider-Man back to his roots, I guess, and they replaced some of the more whimsical elements, I guess, with a retelling of Peter's origin with an emphasis on his abandonment issues with his parents. Okay, that's a valid direction to go in, I suppose. My problem with that is that it tends to sort of overshadow the Spider-Man aspect. It focuses so much on on the subplots that the actual plot becomes less of a main plot and more of a subplot. Peter Parker getting his powers in the original movie, that was the focus of that segment of Sam Raimi's original film. In this movie, it's a subplot. This life-altering event which changes Peter Parker into a post-human being with phenomenal powers. It's an undercurrent to other things. Don't get me wrong, it's really important, and the way he explores his powers and experiences his new physical standards, it's intriguing and well done, I think. It doesn't feel quite as ground-shaking as it should have. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning, just sort of go through the movie and, list various pros and cons as I see them, if you're interested. If not, just go to another video. There's plenty of others, actual legitimate reviewers online doing their thing. Okay, it starts off, now, here is the movie's saving grace. Andrew Garfield. He is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a great Peter Parker. Tobey Maguire was a different Peter Parker. I don't think that he was a bad Peter Parker, but he was a very different Peter Parker, and I think that Andrew Garfield perhaps creates a more appropriate Peter Parker. He captures a kind of awkward, twitchy uncertainty, a really kind of visceral discomfort inherent in his being, which really embodies that stage of youth, when you're not comfortable in your own skin, and you don't know how to come at anything because the world's coming at you, so you're feeling your way. He does that very well, just the way he awkwardly moves his head with its gigantic mane of hair, the way his physicality, the way he moves, he's twitchy, and the way he interacts with people. It's clear he has no social acumen whatsoever, which is good. That's the way Peter Parker should have been in the beginning. So yeah, good job. It begins with a flashback. He's a little kid, and it's very well done, really. He's playing hide and seek with his parents. There's a break-in, and his parents have to leave, and they leave him with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Shadowy conspiracy which they're running from. Then we flash forward, and Peter Parker's in high school, and he's the whipping boy, of course. He's subject to bullies. The old Flash Thompson. Here's something. This might be a real thing. Maybe some high schools are really this cutthroat. But in this movie, I'd like to hope that this is just something that Hollywood plays up, just to emphasize the dramatic nature of bullying. Flash Thompson is vicious. I mean, anyone in real life, beyond high school apparently, who tries this stuff that he does would get considerable jail time. Peter, he comes upon this crowd of students, in the outdoors section of the cafeteria, and Flash he's got another student up in his arms. He's holding him upside down, jamming his face into his food, forcing him to eat, and all the students around are screaming, "Eat it, bite, chant, yes." Yeah, and Peter, he's very selfless right from the start in this version. He comes right up, he says, "Hey, Flash, could you maybe not do that?" And Flash, he goes hog wild on Peter. I mean, really, in real life, you would get considerable assault and battery charges for this, I'm quite sure. Like, "Hey, Puny Parker, why don't you take a picture of this? You're always taking pictures with your pretty camera, your machines, Peter Parker. Get rid of this guy. Okay, Peter, take a picture." And Peter's like, "I'm not going to take a picture, Flash. I'm not going to take a picture." And Flash is like, "You take a picture, Parker. You take a picture. You take a picture. You get out your camera. You take a picture." And Parker's like, "No, I'm not going to take a picture." Flash just beats the crap out of him. He wails on him, just punches him right across the face. And, punches him again, throws him down to the ground, kicks him in the stomach. And meanwhile, all the kids around this, I guess they're taking pictures with their smartphones and what have you. And no one raises a finger to help Peter. Oh, no. But then Gwen Stacy comes on and comes up to Flash, and she's, "Okay, Flash, you've had your fun. How about we go study now?" And Flash is like, "Well, I guess studying's cool. Okay, yeah, we'll go study." And Peter, he's laying there on the ground. He's gasping for air. His lungs have been shattered. His ribs are broken. And Gwen Stacy just looks down at him and says, "Oh, yeah, well, good luck with that." And later in class, he's at his desk instead of going to the nurse, like I think would be necessary. And Gwen Stacy leans up, "Hey, I think what you did earlier, that was really cool. Stupid, but brave." Yeah. Thanks for your help back there. That's a recurring theme. I think it's the contrast between people who do something and don't do something. That's what sets Peter apart early on. He is someone who will go out of his way to help people who are in need. And apparently no one else is. That's the Marvel Universe for you. If you're not a hero, you're a dick. That's what it comes down to. In the Marvel Universe, if you're not a hero, you're a dick. I mean, this poor kid, the punishment he takes at the hands of Flash Thompson. It's outrageous. And then later on, he's attracted to Gwen Stacy because Mary Jane no longer exists, and so he sort of follows her around and get this, he while he's back at home, his aunt and uncle, his Aunt May, who's played by Sally Fields, very capably, but she doesn't look anything like Aunt May. You expect Aunt May to have white hair, have a bun, but no, Sally Fields is a good actress. I'm glad she's getting work on. It's good for her. It's not bad, Aunt May. And again, she's not great, but not bad. And she's like, Peter, well, where'd you get that black eye and all those bruises across your face? And Peter's like, oh, I fell. Why doesn't he just admit that some asshole at school knocked him around? Is that a pride thing? I mean, maybe that's something that people do. I can't understand it. I mean, I'm not, prideful in that respect. If someone did that to me, I'd call the police, or at the very least get a teacher. I mean, he's seriously wounded. Oh, of course, it being Hollywood, all of his wounds vanish with a good night's sleep. So I guess it couldn't have been that bad. And but anyway, we establish his rapport with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And he helps around the house. They do emphasize Peter's. He's a brilliant young man. He's got these scientific skills, makes gadgets around the house, which is nice. They're foreshadowing him building his web shooters. And he finds while he's working around in the house a briefcase, a mysterious briefcase that his father had hidden away in the floorboards. That his Aunt May and Uncle Ben had just decided not to tell him about. And like all movie briefcases, hold on, I need to recharge my batteries.